In a move that stunned Wall Street and Washington, Amazon announced it will relocate its North American headquarters from Arlington, Virginia. This isn't just a corporate shuffle, it's a direct response to America's escalating tariff wars. For Americans, this is more than a headline. It's about jobs, investments, and the future of innovation. Tariffs meant to level the playing field have upended companies like Amazon, whose business depends on global supply chains. Amazon's leadership cited an unpredictable, costly regulatory environment as the main reason for leaving. The move is a high-stakes gamble, challenging the foundation of America's business climate. Amazon, once a pillar of American capitalism, now signals that the U.S. trade landscape is inhospitable for long-term growth. The next chapter for American business has just begun. To understand Amazon's move, we need to examine the recent evolution of U.S. trade policy. The Trump administration's aggressive tariffs, especially against China, broke decades of bipartisan support for free trade. The aim reshore manufacturing and cut the trade deficit. But these tariffs also raised costs for American companies dependent on imports. In 2025, the Fair Trade and American Competitiveness Act reignited the debate, expanding tariffs to cover more goods, especially those central to Amazon's business. Supporters claimed the law would protect U.S. industries and create jobs. For Amazon, it was a direct threat to its model of low prices and fast delivery, built on a global supply chain. The new tariffs disrupted this system, forcing Amazon to choose between higher prices for consumers or shrinking profits. The act signaled that high tariffs were here to stay, making long-term planning nearly impossible for companies of Amazon's scale. A significant portion of Amazon's merchandise was suddenly affected. Executives saw a future of escalating trade disputes and unpredictable costs. The environment was no longer suitable for housing their command center in the U.S. Amazon's decision is a reaction to a new normal, protectionism as policy, uncertainty as reality. The company chose to seek stability elsewhere. The message to other multinationals is clear: adapt or move. Tariffs were the tipping point, but Amazon's decision was shaped by more than trade policy. The company faced mounting scrutiny in the U.S., antitrust probes, labor disputes, and criticism over its market power. Relocating is a strategic move to find a more favorable political and regulatory climate. By moving, Amazon hopes to reset the narrative and operate under different rules. Early reports suggest Canada, Toronto, or Vancouver as top contenders, offering a skilled workforce, proximity to U.S. markets, and a stable trade environment. A Canadian base lets Amazon serve U.S. customers while sidestepping direct tariff impacts. This move reflects a broader trend: multinationals navigating complex geopolitics, becoming political actors as much as economic ones. Amazon's decision highlights the importance of political stability and regulatory predictability. Capital flows where it's treated best, and Amazon's pivot may inspire others to reconsider their U.S. presence. Ultimately, the company's responsibility is to its shareholders. Rising costs, regulatory threats, and political uncertainty forced Amazon to de-risk its operations. The relocation is a defensive maneuver to preserve profitability and growth. While politically explosive, it's a logical business response to a volatile environment. Amazon is betting on a future outside the reach of U.S. protectionism. The world is watching who follows next. The 2025 tariffs would have added billions to Amazon's annual costs. The Fair Trade Act targeted electronics, apparel, and household goods, core Amazon products. A 25% tariff on Asian electronics would force Amazon to raise prices or absorb losses. Tariffs also created logistical chaos, slowing supply chains and undermining Amazon's promise of fast delivery. The company weighed the one-time cost of relocation against the recurring, escalating expense of tariffs. Over 60% of Amazon's top-selling products are imported, making it especially vulnerable. Relocating is a forward-looking strategy to insulate against future trade disputes. By moving to a trade-friendly nation, Amazon can better manage global sourcing and keep prices competitive. The decision is about long-term stability over short-term pain. Arlington, Virginia, faces a sudden economic shock. Amazon's HQ2 promised 25,000 jobs and billions in investment, sparking a real estate boom and infrastructure upgrades. Now, construction is halted, workers are unemployed, and the housing market is in free fall. Small businesses that expanded for Amazon's arrival face bleak prospects. Promised tax revenue for schools and services will not materialize. The dream of becoming a tech hub is shattered, replaced by disappointment and a sense of betrayal. Arlington's billion-dollar incentives now seem like a costly gamble. The city is left with unfinished buildings and a tarnished reputation. Recovery will take years, serving as a cautionary tale for cities courting big corporations. The risks of relying on a single employer have never been clearer. Former President Trump responded to Amazon's move with fierce rhetoric. On social media and at rallies, he called the decision a betrayal, urging Americans to boycott Amazon and buy American. He threatened an exit tax on companies moving headquarters abroad, aiming to deter others from following Amazon's lead. Trump's attacks tap into a long-standing feud with Amazon and Jeff Bezos, framing the company as unpatriotic. The relocation gives him fresh ammunition to push his America First agenda. This transforms a complex economic issue into a battle of patriotism versus corporate greed. Other corporations are watching closely, wary of political retaliation. Trump's willingness to punish companies creates a climate of fear and uncertainty. Business decisions now carry significant political consequences. The fierce reaction to Amazon's move is a warning to the corporate world. In this new era, defying the nationalist agenda comes at a price. The stakes for U.S. business have never been higher. Amazon's relocation is part of a larger stress test on the global supply chain. Decades of just-in-time logistics are now threatened by tariffs and trade disputes. Companies across industries are rethinking supply chains, diversifying manufacturing beyond China. This shift is slow, costly, and disruptive, raising prices and creating new winners and losers. U.S. ports see declining traffic as companies reroute shipments. Canadian and Mexican ports surge. Global trade routes are being redrawn, favoring countries with stable, open policies. The world is moving toward fragmented, regionalized economies, distinct trading blocs in North America, Europe, and Asia. While this may create more resilient supply chains, it could also mean higher prices and less choice for consumers. The era of frictionless global commerce may be ending. The new landscape is more complex, contested, and uncertain. Amazon's move is just the beginning of a worldwide reconfiguration. The global economy is entering uncharted territory. Amazon's decision has deepened America's partisan divide. Tariff supporters see the move as proof of corporate disloyalty, rallying behind nationalist rhetoric. Critics blame protectionism, warning it will drive away investment and jobs. The debate is now central to the next election, crystallizing two visions: protectionism versus global engagement. Amazon's relocation is a symbol in this battle, exposing the real-world impact of policy choices. The nation stands at a critical juncture, more polarized than ever. The Amazon saga is no longer theoretical. It's about jobs, communities, and America's economic future. There's no easy consensus on balancing national interest and global commerce. One company's decision has revealed the deep fault lines in American politics. Amazon's relocation is a direct result of tariff chaos and unpredictable U.S. trade policy. The move triggered fierce political backlash and exposed deep national divisions. The financial and logistical pressures highlight the risks of protectionism for global corporations. Arlington's economic pain is a warning to other communities. This is more than a business story. It's a defining moment in the struggle between globalization and nationalism. The global supply chain is being reshaped, and America's economic identity is at stake. The nation faces fundamental questions about its future in the world economy. As corporate power and national interest blur, can the U.S. craft a trade policy that protects workers and fosters innovation?